have the power. None of it matter, make a new best friend. And the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello, Love Wrestling community. It is Thursday night. It is 8:30, and you know what that means. It is another episode of Between Two Beards. All right, Pluggo disappeared. Look at that, off the riff.
Off the rip.
Off the rip. He's like, you know what? I'm out of here. So you know what? It's going to be the two of us to start until Pluggo comes back in. As you can see, we have a special guest with us tonight. He is Phil Lindsey. You know him from Fightful. You know him from other stuff like the Bleacher Report and things of that nature. Phil, how are you doing this week?
I'm good. I got up with a headache this morning for whatever reason, but other than that, I'm good.
All right. So I wanted to start. Obviously, we'll hope for Pluggo to pop back in here. I wanted you to talk a little bit about your new podcast that you've been doing for a few weeks now on Fightful. I've listened to both episodes. I really like what's going on there with you and your co-host there. So can you explain what Grapsody is and, you know, how it came about and how everything worked out there?
Yeah, Grapsody is a podcast I'm doing with Fightful. You can catch it on the YouTube channel, and you catch it on every, DSP where Fightful podcasts are available. And it's me, Righteous Reg, and Will Washington. And there are things we want to touch on every week and going over it. How it came together, it was kind of one of those things where I've done other podcasts with both Will and Reg.
Cool.
And, kept saying, we've got to get the three of us on something, because we had never done anything with the three of us. We've always done something separately. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, we've got to make this happen. And, we had that conversation enough where it's like, let's make you make this a regular thing.
Yeah.
And, sure. Once the wheels started moving, it turned into what we have. Next thing I know, we had the logo and, it's off to races.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's been very entertaining. It's on Saturdays. Oh, there's Pluggo in the chat saying, of course, I'm having to reset, as we have a couple other people asking, where's Pluggo? See, Pluggo's the popular one. I don't know why. I do my best here, but Pluggo's the one that gets ragged on and is the popular one in the chat most days. But all right, so that's cool, because my next question was going to be, did you know Reg and Will beforehand very well, or was it just kind of, you had met each other recently, or have you done a bunch of stuff, but with you saying, you've worked on stuff together? That's cool too.
Yeah, Reg used to run the Black Wrestlance account. And like when I first started getting started, like this was before I started Bleacher or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just used to come across him a lot on Twitter. He used to share a lot of my articles and stuff. And, we would have conversations about mutual things. And, we just got really cool after that. And, I did a few podcasts with him for his page. And, I just support what the guy's doing, man. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody in this industry that supports Black wrestlers as hard as he does, and that knows more about Black wrestlers. And so I've always appreciated him for that. And I've always appreciated him for, kind of inspiring me to be myself in this industry. Because he's always, authentically himself.
Yeah.
And Will, I've done his podcast when he had RBR. We did the Wrestling with Wills the day after Punk's debut at the United Center. And, kind of backstory with that is his ticket, because he was gonna come, or either he planned to gift the ticket to somebody else.
Okay.
And so he sold me his ticket to the show, and then I actually ended up getting a press pass. And so
really,
I was laughing because he was like, I kind of wanted to, come up at the last minute. I said, man, I ended up getting rid of that ticket because I had a press pass. I could have gave it back to you.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's a great story. I did want to ask you, because I knew you were in that building that night for that debut. What was it like when the music hit, and then when he finally walked out? Because I was in Vegas for SummerSlam, and I was staying with Joel Pearl from Fightful and Spencer, who runs Love Wrestling, and it was a Friday night in Vegas, and it was 7:00 that time, and it wasn't airing until 10. And we were like, we're not going out yet. We're finding a connection to watch this somewhere in this hotel room. And it seemed like the music hit. Well, the show starts. Everyone's already blacking out. They're ready for him. The music hits. It's like a all-time pop. And then he finally walks out. Pluggo just causing all sorts of chaos. And then he walks out, and it's just like the roof could have blown off the building. What was it like actually being in that building for that moment?
Man, I've been quite a few things, but never anything like that. The energy in that arena was just like a wrestling fan. I mean, and I think getting there and just seeing how excited people initially were, because I think we all kind of knew he was coming.
Yeah.
So just that energy when you walked in the building. And, I'm a Chicagoan, so there's certain things that are, nostalgic for me about that building. Like that's the building that Jordan built, and I was standing in there, and I've said it several times, but just standing in there before when they were doing the countdown to start Rampage and Sirius, and I was looking around at the banners in there, and I was like, this is unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
And so, then when he finally, I don't think anybody expected him to open the show.
I definitely did not. I thought they would hold off, but it was the right move.
Oh
yeah. Cause I mean, when the countdown started, all you heard in there was CM Punk chants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Like, it was just CM Punk chants. So once the countdown ended and Cult of Personality hit, it was just like, that pop was just crazy. It was like, it was one of the loudest sustained pops I've ever been in the building for. And it was like just the sound of it as the music was going. And then when he walked out, it's just like deafening.
Yeah, we were sitting in the hotel room watching it, and the three of us were like looking at it, and we could just tell. We were like, man, this is crazy. Like, this is different. This is a different type of comeback or debut, like whatever. It just was like, it was a really special moment that we're going to be talking about for a long, long time, I think. Pluggo, how the hell are you, bud?
I am well.
Oh, there he goes again. Oh, God. Pluggo might be a nightmare this evening. Poor guy. It's okay.
What the heck's going on?
You tell me, brother. Huh?
I don't know. Of course. It's what happened today when we've got Phil here, who's the man, and I
got a big show.
Sorry. Bad luck.
Pluggo's internet is nervous. Phil is making Pluggo's internet nervous over there. Well, you there?
If I have to, we'll figure this out.
I hope so. It's okay.
I'll get this figured out.
I forgive you. It's fine.
Anyway, I'm good. I heard what you said. Yeah, I'm the one that gets ragged on. I'm not the most popular, JPJ. You are. You're the busiest man in podcasting. Phil doing all sorts of stuff. I'm glad he came out and had some time for us. A lot to talk about this week.
Yes, I want to dive into it. Tomorrow night should be pretty fascinating, I think.
Biggest night in wrestling history.
Biggest night.
Is that too far?
I think so. A tad. Maybe a smidge. Maybe a smidge. Okay. Maybe a smidge. So this whole thing started last week. WWE announced that SmackDown tomorrow night would be running 30 minutes over. It's on FS1 tomorrow. It's not on regular Fox. It's on FS1. I believe that plays a significant role in why they're doing this. But they're going to run a half hour over and go till 10:30. And I believe they said it was commercial free too. Really? I think so. Don't quote me on that.
Last half hour. Yeah.
Yes, I thought I saw that. To which almost immediately, Tony Khan sends out a tweet and he goes, "Oh, okay. You're coming at us. You're going to do a half hour after. Cool. I can't wait to beat your top show with Rampage." And everyone's like, all right, man. Tony Khan's coming right at it, not shading away. And then we find out a couple of days later, he sends out another tweet and he goes, all right, we're going to have a buy-in an hour earlier before Rampage for free on YouTube to go against SmackDown. And he goes, Bobby Fish is going to fight an up-and-coming guy who is really, I know, Phil, you're a big fan of this gentleman, Lee Moriarty. And then he says, we're going to have a Bryan Danielson match too. And then later on, he announces that the Bryan Danielson match is against Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, they announced the women's match as well, didn't they? I think they announced Santana Garrett versus
Yes.
Ty Conti.
Yes, they added that as well. So another women's match as well. And then, yeah. So Tony Khan is just like, yeah, no, you're coming after us. Well, I'm coming right back at you. And now we have this, you know, what are people? I mean, in today's day and age, you can watch both at the same time. But we have this, you know, social media like, oh, what are you going to be watching? What are you going to be watching? I saw Kate Hensler. She retweeted a tweet that was like, the wrestling community is going to be asking, you know, what show are you watching on Friday is how we're going to judge you from here on out, or something along those likes. Like, it just seems like this is just such a crazy time in wrestling. Phil, what do you think about everything going on tomorrow, and like just how fascinating that can be?
I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting for wrestling fans. I think it's great that we have so much content to watch. Um, I don't think that I need some of the internet stuff that we get from it. I think people going out of their way to pick sides is a little bit too much sometimes. Just enjoy wrestling. Like some people saying, "Oh, well, they're giving us this dream match, but it's on YouTube." Who cares where it is? It's Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson.
Unbelievable.
If they start a streaming platform and they were like, "Okay, this is the debut match for our streaming platform," people would sign up for it. It's a dream
Yep.
match.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. When he announced it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. And then when it's going to be free on YouTube, and it's like, this is just, it's too good to be true, I feel like. And then
Yeah.
the main event of SmackDown is going to be Becky and Sasha, which should be hopefully amazing as well. And it's like, we have this embarrassment of riches almost as a wrestling fan nowadays.
Yes.
Why do we have to argue with each other about what's better? Like, just, hey man, like, you can watch one at one time and watch the other right after. You can watch one on your phone and watch, like, we can all watch whatever we want to watch. And it just turns into, well, this one's better than this. Like, you like what you like, whatever. Like, we're all wrestling fans at the end of the day, right, Pluggo? Like, we're all.
Yeah, I've always said, since I've been starting this podcasting game and been putting my voice out there, that this is the golden era of professional wrestling. It's the buffet. It's, if you want it, you love it. If you don't have to watch it. But don't shit on somebody else for loving something else, right? Like, if you're not a deathmatch person, just don't watch. Watch something else. You know, if you don't like AEW, don't watch it. But don't knock me for liking it. And Phil, how do you feel about? I was going to ask you, because I'm very pro the shots between companies. I think it's a lot of fun. I could do without some of the nasty shots people take on Twitter and Facebook and all that. But I meant just like Tony Khan saying, hey, no, bring it on, and them, you know, counter program. How do you feel about that? Or do you think both companies should kind of just stay in their own lane?
I enjoy Tony taking shots. I think people look at it like he's obsessed with them. But I feel like those people are ignoring the fact that WWE is clearly counter programming here. Like, there's no reason to go a half an hour over. And if you're right, it's a half hour over with no commercials. That's very intentional. And so him welcoming the challenge, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with, you know, stuff like people that work for one company taking shots. I know people were mad at Point because she was joking about the Jericho bump. And I thought it was hilarious. I don't know. I think people take these things too seriously because they've decided I'm on this side of the fence. So how dare you mock something I'm enjoying? It's wrestling, guys.
Yeah. And I feel like wrestlers, I'm not a wrestler. I don't know, Phil, if you've ever tried to be a wrestler. I know JPJ, we've talked about it. You're not a wrestler.
No.
But I know that, you know, I think in the community, they're kind of laughing at each other. Sure, they're, you know, fronting like Shotzi and Jericho on Twitter, but I'm sure behind the scenes are like, yeah, that bump was kind of silly. You know, they're not taking it as serious as we, the fans, are, you know? It kind of goes back to the whole sports thing, that the athletes aren't sitting there losing sleep over one game. We are. We're the fanatics. It's what we do. But that's just my take on that whole thing.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think it's true. I think like a lot of it is, I mean, and I wanted to talk about Tony Khan as well, because I do feel like there's a certain section of the online wrestling community that
that deathmatch did rule too. Good call.
Was very good.
Good shout.
It was very, very good. I feel like there's a certain section of the online wrestling community that doesn't like him. Like they just openly are like, nope, they rag on him. Anything he does, they call him a mark or whatever. And it's like, I just don't understand it because like from my point of view, I'm like, how can anybody not like this guy? He looks like he's having the time of his life. He's booking dream matches regularly. His company is, surviving. I don't know. I don't understand why so many people, it seems like, just continue to hate on Tony Khan when I feel like at the end of the day, he's just one of us. He's just one of us who's running a wrestling company.
He's the boss of a company that when we, the consumer, say we want X, Y, and Z, he gives us X, Y, and Z. Why are we complaining? Phil, please help me out with that. Why are people complaining about somebody giving us what we want when clearly there's another company that's going against what we want?
I don't know. I think for some people, Tony Khan represents it's the opposition to what they love and to what they've loved for so long. So in some ways, they're like, how dare you? You're just this new company. How dare you talk about somebody that you're not even on their level? And then on top of that, it's like, I don't understand the stance, but some people are like, you've got to move past taking shots at WWE and just do your own thing at some point. And it's a fair assessment, but at the same time, this is what wrestling has always been.
Yeah.
It's just promos. It's just promotion. You're getting worked up by something that is a work. You're getting worked up by this guy trying to promote his product. That's it. That's what everyone does. And if you don't like his way of promoting, just don't watch it.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that, isn't it?
He
sounds
wants
so
you to
simple.
watch his product. That's his job. It's like he's not going to sit there and just go, we got to. Yeah. I mean, nobody does that. I don't think you would do that, Phil. You would be like, hey, Grapsody this week's.
And I mean, hey, some things that I tweet when our podcast is coming up because I'm excited. Like I'm just tweeting because I want people to watch the podcast. But hey, if you think my self-promotion of our podcast is obnoxious, hey, by all means, don't watch the podcast and you don't have to listen to me. I think people are missing that part. We have a choice here. You have a choice of what you consume. This is all entertainment. You do not have to continue to buy into any of this.
Change the channel, as they say,
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. It's just a weird vibe because like tomorrow night, in theory, right? And that's kind of where the whole basis of this conversation started is it's great for fans. Like it's two companies slugging it out, whether it be it's just, and they're both going to put on shows. I'm hoping SmackDown is going to, deliver like they did with the MSG show. I thought that was a good show outside of the cutting a few things out in the women's matches, which we'll talk about some women's wrestling here. But yeah, we should just be excited, right? And if you're all in on SmackDown, watch SmackDown. Don't worry about AEW. I'm going to be sitting there watching Rampage. I'm excited. I'm going to sit and watch both. That's what I do. I just don't understand the vibe of like, we're mad that they're giving us Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki for free. Like, I don't get that either. Like, I've never complained about anything for free. You offered, if JPJ offers me a free whatever, I'm like, nice, great.
Yeah, the best price is free.
Yeah, like
the best price is free.
They should save it for pay-per-views. AEW has 4 year, guys. Let's not complain. I don't understand the complaint.
Yeah, even if you don't want to watch it during SmackDown, if you don't want to take part into the back and forth, you can wait until SmackDown is over and watch it afterwards. You can watch it tomorrow. It's on YouTube.
It's free.
Yeah. Like you don't. We can all watch everything we want to watch.
Like all the people that are watching us tonight, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you, Mike the ref. How you doing? Join us today. We got Phil Lindsey. For those that are just popping in, we had a few people popping in, so I figured we'd let everybody know Phil's here. Busiest man in the game. I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to tell you. I think you were like, how do you do it, man? You're all over the place, man. I couldn't even list everything. I wouldn't do it justice. Killing.
Just very time consuming sometimes, man.
Yeah, killing.
I bet. As far as tomorrow's matches go, I know I saw you on Twitter, Phil, and you are a very big proponent of one Lee Moriarty. He recently, he's fantastic. He recently got signed by AEW, and as you said, they're building him as a draw to that show tomorrow night in that match with Bobby Fish. And this is really his first big, I know it's going to be on YouTube, but his first big main show match. I'm afraid, because we know that Bobby Fish and Bryan Danielson are fighting on Saturday, that Bobby Fish will win. I think Lee should win that match tomorrow night. But for the audience that might not know Lee Moriarty very well, explain why you are so high on him. And I've seen that you've started a hashtag over the last couple of days that you might want to talk about as well. But talk about Lee Moriarty a little bit.
I think that he's probably one of the best up-and-coming technical wrestlers in the industry right now. I think when you look at some of those matches he's had with like an ACH or Jonathan Gresham, like he's just special. There's something about him. He's just special, and he's still really young. I think he's going to be one of those guys. Like he could be a star. He's got a different look. I think in terms of his entire presentation and his in-ring ability, I think he's one of the best. I see a lot of people that do this critique of AEW that is fair, that, they don't have a lot of black men in their world title picture. And I think the creation of AEW, they've built so much equity based off of, the indie fans and New Japan fans. And so, you got a guy like Kenny Omega that comes in and he has a fan base already. He's trying to build the mainstream fan base, but he already comes in with a baked in fan base. And I think Lee Moriarty is one of those guys that is very similar for that reason. He comes in with a baked in fan base from the indie guys. I mean, his look is based off of, the original Tiger Mask from New Japan. So he kind of comes in with kind of that same sweat equity. And so because of that, I feel like there's something there. He fits the mold of what that company is trying to build. And so I just feel like he's one of those guys where they could easily get behind. And if we, the fans, want to see them book more black wrestlers, we should get behind him. We should be loud for him at shows, and we should support him when they put him in a high pressure situation like this.
Yeah.
I love Lee. I stumbled across him on like an IWTV show once, and I was like, who is this guy? His look was different, and he's phenomenal in the ring. He did take the couple L's. Every time I turned on a Lee match, I felt like he was losing, but he always put on a great show. And I think him and Bobby Fish, I think it's a no-brainer. Give those guys 15 minutes and just let them just do their thing. I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it should be. And then we get, and let's talk about it. Is Santana Garrett versus who was she going against? I'm sorry, Phil, you had mentioned.
Ty Conti.
Ty Conti. I'm a big fan of Ty Conti. I think when she's been given her opportunity, it's not even the same person from what I remember when she was in NXT. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan of hers. Santana Garrett, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen a ton of. I know she was in NXT, WWE, and she wasn't on a lot, and I haven't seen her since she's made the transition over a ton to AEW. But I'm assuming that, another women's match added to the card on AEW and added to the main TV shows is not a bad thing. So I think they've been doing a better job at building the women's division, but the women need more time. So adding another women's match to the free buy-in tomorrow is a good thing, because there should be multiple. There doesn't just have to be one women's match per show. You can do multiple storylines, multiple matches. So it's good that they added that match.
I thought it was weird that they didn't use Santana more within NXT, because she's one of those women that has been around the world. I mean, she was with NWA for a while. She did some matches with Stardom. If I remember correctly, she actually beat Io Shirai to win. I think it was the Wonder of Stardom belt. I think it was the white belt. And so she's wrestled all over the world. I think it's weird that they didn't use her more. And so I think she is going to do well now that she's back on the Indies. And I think it's a good opponent for Tay Conti.
Yeah, Conti's but if I was going to have a short list of most improved wrestlers in 2021, she's on it. She might be the top of it. And Garrett, isn't it funny? Like all these, Ty Conti was in the NXT system, Santana Garrett, and we're getting to see them shine in other places. It's awesome. This is why I'm like, wrestling is in such a good place. If everybody could just understand that, it doesn't have to be one way. God,
Yeah, I just
it'd
think
be
it
in a
was
much
one.
better place.
It was one way for so long.
Nobody
you know,
hates
like
wrestling more than wrestling fans.
it's unbelievable. It's true though. It's true. Nobody makes fun. Nobody bags on wrestling as much as wrestling fans, and
Yeah.
it's just wild when you think of it that way. And then we have the main event of the buy-in. Not even the main event. We have Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki. A match that wasn't even on my brain until Tony Khan booked it.
I think we'll get to some NXT tonight there too. Maybe.
This match is going to be as good as we're all thinking, right? Like it's going to live up to every imagination that we have when we first heard it was happening.
I hope so.
I'm
But
telling
it's on paper. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. When I was sitting in, because I went to All Out and I was sitting there watching the Mox match, and I was like, man, it would be so much better if this was Suzuki. I thought his opponent tonight was going to be Suzuki. And then Suzuki comes out, and I'm just like, what? And so I'm sitting there the whole time in the back of my mind, like, Suzuki's here. He's in America. He's touring. We know Daniel Bryan's going to be here, right? And so when Daniel Bryan debuted, I was like, they have to do this match. This is they have to. And so, the fact that they're doing it so soon, and we're just getting it kind of as, I don't even want to say an afterthought, but just kind of like, hey, here's something along with Rampage. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's Tony Khan giving us what we want and not waiting, and I understand the waiting model, like, wait for a big pay-per-view, get the pay-per-view buys, blah, blah, blah. But TV revenue drives most of the wrestling business at this point. The pay-per-view buys is just extra. So to get this match, oh man, can't wait. So
yeah, he's had some killer matches already.
And Daniel Bryan, this last run in WWE, he was in the main event of WrestleMania. So I'm not saying they slighted him by any stretch, but I know that he's eager to get out there and wrestle these people. And because I think in Daniel Bryan's mind, he's got a shelf life, right? He's very adamant about he wants to be a family man. He's got, Bree, and he's got the babies, and he wants to be that. So I think he's even going, let me get these while I can, while I'm in my, maybe not prime, but I'm at the tail end of the prime, getting into the later years of his career. So I'm excited. I know Daniel Bryan's excited. I'm excited. We should all just rejoice.
Yeah.
This is the theme of the night show. Everybody just rejoice that wrestling is where it's at.
Yeah, but the next thing we're going to talk about isn't a good thing when it comes to certain wrestling. But
I wanted to get the happy and positive out of the way.
No, I will say,
start with love, man.
Start with love. Night. Yes, let's start big.
Even in the few matches that he's had, like sorry, I almost did it. The Bryan Danielson we've been seeing, it's like
absolutely
like one more notch up. You know what I mean? Like the aggressiveness. I like the Darby Allin Punk match. I like that match a lot. Phil, you were there live. Like, obviously everyone was jacked up for Punk, but like, I think that match ended up being a little bit different than you see Darby Allin in a match, and I think everyone's expecting just a bunch of crazy stuff to happen. But Punk, being the veteran that he was like, no, you're going to have to out-wrestle me. You're going to have to out-wrestle me to beat me. And Darby Allin held his own in there. That was seeing a good side of Darby Allin, because Darby Allin had probably his most normal wrestling match in a while on AEW, and he was right in there with Punk. I thought, I really liked that match. I really enjoyed that match. But again, you like what you like. It is what it is. But yeah. But I thought that match was one of my favorites of All Out. I'm sorry. But yeah, let's transition to the Queen's Crown tournament. Yeah, I know Pluggo was adamant today. We're talking about the Queen's Crown tournament. I said, okay. We'll do that.
We have to.
I was like, we can do that.
If we want to be taken as serious wrestling podcasters as we are, we've got to talk about this.
Yeah. So
Unreal.
the Queen's Crown tournament, the first round matchups were on SmackDown last week. Zelina Vega beat Toni Storm in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Carmella beat Liv Morgan in 1 minute and 40 seconds. And then on Raw this past week, Shayna Baszler defeated Dana Brooke in 1 minute and 25 seconds. And then Doudrop beat Natalia in what would be the longest match of the first round at 3 minutes even.
Wow.
4 matches in the first round of a tournament that they were building as the women's alternative to the King of the Ring, like the women's version of the King of the Ring. And they got 8 minutes total for 4 first-round matchups. And you can question the booking decisions of some of them, specifically on the SmackDown side, I believe, with Liv Morgan losing. And I still think Toni Storm as well. Like, Toni Storm is one of the best female wrestlers on the planet. I don't understand why she's having a match that's under 2 minutes. I just don't get it. I don't get it. How disappointing, embarrassing, whatever words we have for it. Like, how do you feel about this? Because it's not sitting well with almost everybody. So,
well, first of all, I think the context of it matters, because if you're going to tell us we're not doing an Evolution, right? You have made that clear. You're not doing an Evolution pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us were thinking Queen of the Ring is going to be, the next best thing. We're going to get like this Mae Young Classic tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get good matches, and we're going to get finals at, the Saudi show, which nobody is really excited for. But for that to be the context, and then on top of that, you got what NWA did with Empower, which was fantastic, and you even have what the Knockouts did with Knockout Knockdown over the weekend, and that was a great tournament. It's a great all-around show. And then you look at WWE, which is supposed to be the standard bearer, and we're getting 8-minute matches. It just doesn't make sense.
8 minutes for 4 matches.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a lack of talent there. There is a wealth of talented women on that roster. There are women on the roster that we don't see. I mean, even when you look at the bracket, I have to question the decision to pick the 8 women that they did. It's strange. You've got Shotzi Blackheart on this roster. We don't see her at all. Where is she? You've got Dakota, who hasn't been on NXT.
Yeah.
She's not on regular
not
team.
doing anything.
You've got so many people that are not doing anything. So the bracket itself is weird. And then, like I said, you're doing short matches. I feel like there's been an issue with the amount of time women are getting on SmackDown for a while. I don't think this is new. You had stuff like the women getting cut at the Madison Square Garden show. I think it's been an issue for a while. And I think people assumed when Becky got back, it was going to get better. And it just hasn't. It hasn't improved. It's improved for her because she gets the segments where she can come out and cut a promo.
Correct.
And, to their credit, the Becky, Bianca, and Banks stuff is great.
Yeah.
But the rest of the roster is still suffering.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, it boggles my mind because, like you said, like their women's roster is so deep on every level.
Yes.
It's so deep, and it's just like I don't understand why. You have especially on like Raw, you have a 3-hour show. You have a 3-hour show. Those 2 matches can't get 6 minutes, 8. They can get 2 on a 3-hour show. How many recaps did you show of the opening segment throughout the show? 5? 5 of them?
Even if you don't want to dedicate the time.
Exactly.
You have Peacock. Why not do a 16 bracket tournament and put it on Peacock and just have the finals at Crown Jewel?
Yeah.
You don't have to put every match on television. People got mad at AEW for doing their tournament like that and putting some of the matches on YouTube. But I feel like the tournament was better because of it, because it gave the women time. The matches were good. If you don't want to commit the time on TV, which they don't really have an excuse because you're producing 5 hours of television every week, then just put it on Peacock.
People, what we always say? People show up to the cock.
People will hop. People will hop on the cock. They will hop on the cock to watch the show.
And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because it's women's wrestling. We had the women's revolution in the WWE. It was like They were parading all these women out. Everybody kept saying Becky's going to be the savior when she comes back. You know, the booking will get better, and it's just not gotten better. And it's like you have this tournament that everybody's been clamoring for, and like you said, Phil, all the other companies are doing all women's pay-per-views, all women's shows, and the WWE saying, "No, we're not going to do that. Here's 2 minutes." And it's a terrible comparison for me. But when King Corbin was crowned, they let that man who was, you know, everybody's like butt of everybody's joke, reinvent himself and give us these banger matches. We're like, oh, Corbin is back. You're telling me you can't do that for a Shayna, a Liv Morgan? Where's Naomi? Like, give Naomi 10 minutes. And even if she takes a
how
loss,
is Naomi not in the?
like-
well, I mean, she is fighting Sonya Deville tomorrow night. And that's gonna be pretty dope. That's
gonna be good. But it's just like, it just blows my mind that, like you said, 5 hours of TV and you're giving me roll-up wins, 2-minute matches for something that's supposed to be the queen of the ring. It's supposed to be equal to the king. Both chairs are out there, but you know, the booking and the men's side of it is.
Yeah, they're getting
their
the
time.
multi-segment matches, and as they deserve to be, but the women deserve the same.
And
they deserve the same.
You can't tell. They're resetting shows as of the 22nd anyway. So why couldn't this week's Raw just be all matches for the Queen and King of the Ring? Just let it happen. 3 hours of good wrestling is better than what they're doing now. Just frustrates me. It's sad. It's just, I don't understand it. It's like, again, we talk about the other company and everybody goes, don't compare the two. That's what you do in sports. That's what we do in life. We compare everything at LeBron and Jordan, right? Nobody's going, just enjoy watching LeBron. No, we want to know, is he better than Jordan? Is he better than, we talked about that off air. You know what I mean? Like Cubs Sox, like who's better? It's the human nature to compare companies.
Yeah.
So we were getting companies giving us what we want, and the WWE, who we know, like you said, has a stacked roster of talent. They are flush with people that are like you could start companies with that are just sitting on the sidelines, and then they give us 2 minutes, and they don't give us the women that we want in the tournament.
It just, I think it looks bad, especially with what NWA did. I think that they, in the last few months, have proven Mickie James right. I feel like everything Mickie has done since she left WWE has been fantastic, including the stuff she's doing on Impact, which I feel like the stuff she's doing with Deanna is the best stuff on every episode now. And so
they're giving us an Empower episode in a couple of weeks. They announced that on Tuesday.
So I feel like they don't have any excuse anymore. You could have easily made Queen of the Ring into a network exclusive special and build to it. You could have done, if you didn't want to do Evolution, you could have made Queen of the Ring a network exclusive pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and we'd watch that, like
everybody. A lot of people would have watched it. Yeah. And it's
they should have never got rid of the Mae Young Classic, in my opinion.
They shouldn't have.
That was a good time. And Evolution should be a yearly pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I mean, you could have
no-brainer stuff.
You could have easily replaced the Mae Young Classic with the Queen's Crown tournament.
Yep.
It makes sense. You could bring new companies, have them take part in a tournament, and there was a way to do this. I just don't know what they're doing.
And throw the NXT women in there that aren't doing anything. It's just, or throw the NXT women in there that are doing something. Like just a big 16
if you make if you had a 16 person, like that's plenty. You can have people from all three brands, and it would be. Yeah, and a lot of people would watch it, and I guarantee you the reception of it would be wonderful.
Maybe I haven't noticed because I honestly, since they switched to Peacock, haven't watched as much.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be doing as many specials now that it's not their network.
No,
I wonder if that has to do with Peacock's relationship with them, saying, we don't need it, or maybe, then again, I don't think they're pushing for it because they got their money. So.
Yeah. Can we just acknowledge that Peacock has been a failure for the fans?
I was going to say a disaster.
It's terrible. I don't like the interface. It's hard to find things on there. I mean, there was a point when the network was going where I used to just leave the network on all day and I would just watch old stuff all the time. Now I don't use Peacock at all. I only use it for pay-per-views.
Ask my 100%. Wife, just what are you watching? I don't know, something from like the 80s. It's just
something just popped on the network.
And I was just going. Even like Peacock, just normal is a hard interface to manage for movies and shows. It's like weird. You got to go backwards to get what you're.
All these jerks from other places
Oh, you
rubbing it in that they
guys,
still
hey.
get the network.
Hey,
I
bring
am
the
jealous
network
of you
back,
guys.
man.
I am jealous of you. I miss the network. I miss
Yeah.
the network big time.
For sure.
Oh man, like that
It
would
is
be some of the happiest news
cheaper,
ever if
which
they
is
were like, "Oh, we're
nice,
bringing
but-
back the network." I'd be like, "Oh, all right,
Yeah.
cool." I'd
Yeah.
be like genuinely happy.
'Cause they do everything in seasons. Like I was trying to find just this week's past NXT, and I was like, "Season? Wait, what? Just give me."
Yeah, come on. Everything was done so well on network. You could
Yep.
find things easily. It was a good interface. They had a good search system. Now it's just like, what is this? Like,
And the
Yeah.
and the specials are few. Like I think what is it? They did an unannounced special on Fox on Sunday for the tournament preview, and it did
Yeah, they did a King of the Ring preview. I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah,
I didn't
great
even know it
Yeah, me neither.
happened.
But you can't promote that and just do like, hey, you can do that, but you can't just do a Sunday special where you like have the Queen's Crown tournament. Like, come on, even the
Yeah.
men's, do some of the men's, intermix it,
Yeah,
and make it big. Give these people something to do. You're paying them.
yeah,
That's what blows my mind. Like, you're paying all these great talents to just sit on the sidelines. You can't throw them in a first round match where they just take an L and give them something to do.
yeah. I think you've got to be a little bit frustrated if you're a woman on a WWE roster, because when you see what other companies are allowing their women to do, like, I mean, I don't think the AEW is perfect. I think that, they're firmly behind what Impact is doing as well.
Mhm.
But I mean, still, you're allowing the women from AEW to participate and empower at least.
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
And they're doing independents too. I saw Thunder Rosa on a independent show this past weekend for GCW.
Yeah, she showed
Big
up. She was
weekend.
part of the scramble in GCW.
And she was doing something for Hybrid too, and it's like,
yeah,
they're getting an opportunity to create and do things and be out there, and WWE is lessening. And I don't understand, why would you go the opposite way? The division, we always had this argument, I think, as wrestling fans, that the division is bigger than the Four Horsewomen.
yeah.
And they're just like Four Horsewomen or bust, and it's like, you got so much good talent. Like, use it. Just use it.
It's sad. I don't know, man. And I mean, just looking at where those tag titles are now, it's a shame.
Casual fan probably doesn't even know who's holding them.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
I had to think about it last week. I was like, who's got those now? Because we never see them. We don't see them on Raw anymore. We don't. And then the NXT titles, tag titles, you never see those hardly.
Yeah, it's
weird.
I don't know why when they created the women's tag titles to begin with, they said, hey, this is going to float between all three brands, all three. And then they just went up and they just made NXT women's tag. And it was like, no, you didn't need to do that. Just have the regular women's tag titles be in NXT for a few months or something like that, or just have them be regular there for a program of however many weeks, and then they can move on and it can rotate. It was just, that was a whole separate decision making the NXT ones, but I just think that was such a rush job for no reason.
Yeah.
And now both those tag titles are afterthoughts. They're absolutely afterthoughts. There's no focus to any feud. It's just, it's a number one, whatever they call it now, a championship contender match, which Shotzi and Tegan won like twice, and then they split them up. They didn't even get their championship match. It's just like,
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we
Okay,
doing?
man.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
No. But, all right. So I did, earlier on, as you know, at Between Two Beards, usually before we head out of here, we usually try to do a draft of some sort. So I reached out to Phil, and I was like, hey, we usually do a draft at the end of the show, get the chat involved and things like that. And I said the guest usually picks the topic.
Because I won
And
last week.
You didn't win last week.
Well, ask Phil.
Not even close. But I said the guest usually picks the topic. And what was the topic that you came up with, Phil?
There's a lot of talk about, sneakerheads and sneaker culture. So I think, we should go over which wrestlers have the best sneaker game.
All right.
That's fair.
And-
Sneaker game like in ring or sneaker game?
I think both.
collection?
Both.
Yeah.
So, do you watch the Mighty Ducks at all, Phil? Have you ever seen the franchise?
Oh, of course, yeah. Big
Okay.
fan of the 3 movies. I haven't seen the network
Okay.
reboot.
So we drafted last week teams, and
Yeah.
he thinks he won. 'Cause that's usually how we pick. I think I won. JPJ, do you have those results? And we'll see who.
I do not have the results yet.
I do. I took.
Okay.
Well, who
Banks.
got Banksy? Because
I got
Well, he
Banks.
has first pick, so he got Banks.
I took
He got me.
Banks. I took Jesse Hall, Conway, Robinson.
You have no defense.
Goldberg.
Who are your defenders?
I don't need
he's
it.
got Goldberg.
And I got Russ
I got
Tyler.
Julie the cat. Animal.
Hey,
It sounds like I won based
I
on
don't know,
Banks
man.
alone.
When you got Banksy, you've got the best player on the team.
That is true, and I will give that up. But once he gave himself the first pick to get Banks,
Whoa.
I took Julie the cat. I also have the Bash brothers. I got both of them, and then I took my man Guy, the best overall player in all the movies, always on the ice.
Hey man, who got my man the knuckle puck, man?
That was him. He took knuckle puck. He
might have won. I don't know, man.
We're gonna. No, I'm good. Next week when we're back to the two of us, the results will be on Twitter, and usually the winner gets to pick the next draft. So you'll see the teams on there. Please vote, and if it's for Pluggo, I will forgive you because I'm a big fan of yours. I will forgive you, but I won the draft last week. But anyway, so
I got Banksy. I got the knuckle puck. Phil said it.
That's okay.
Clip that.
That's
Put it
okay.
into the ether.
That's okay.
Make it happen. And I know Phil. You know, people using your words for likes. I know you tweeted that out today, but I'm taking this one. He said, "I got Banksy. I got the knuckle puck. I'm gonna spin it into a one."
That's fine.
That's what I'm gonna do. I never lose these things. That's all I'm saying.
And then he says,
You know what,
Pluggo, your only two friends voted for JPJ. So there you go. I got the votes that matter.
Everybody in the chat always votes for you, but yet I don't know. When we put it in a poll, I usually win.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to do wrestlers with the best shoe game. The guest gets first pick as well.
This is going to be hard.
I think I'm not going to lie to you. I did some nerd research earlier because I was like, all right, I have a couple popped up right away, but it's a draft. So if one of them go, you got to be light on your feet. So I was just like, all right. So I did some research, but I think
let's let Phil go first.
Okay. Phil's going to go first, and then Pluggo and I will go second, and we'll do a quick little 5-round draft before we get out of here. Yeah. So Phil, you are on the clock, my friend.
I am going to go with my favorite WWE champion, Kofi Kingston. I think his shoe game is always on point. I've seen him take a little slander because he wears mids. Jordan,
I dig the capri mid look that he's got going on lately. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I see a lot of Jordan fans out there saying, "Oh, you're wearing mids," which I don't understand what's the big difference between mids and those. But he wears mids sometimes. He gets a little flack, but I think his shoe game is usually on point.
All right. So Kofi off the board first. All right.
Am I going next or are you going?
I thought you said did you want to attack this together, you and I as a package, or are we doing separate? I'll go either way. I thought you said you wanted to do it together.
I said that we might have to if we can't come up with 15, but it sounds
15 different wrestlers.
Can we come up with 15? That'd be 15.
I think we can.
Are we taking on Phil? That'd be a disadvantage. I don't want Phil.
Well, then go. All right, so you go second.
I'll go second. You know what? I had to think about it. I'm gonna just do it because they're flaunting it. I don't care if they're real or fake. I'm gonna take the Young Bucks. They're
pretty solid pick.
Dwarves are out there. They're always in J's. Again, everybody on Twitter is like, those are fake. I mean, obviously, why would you mess up $1,000?
But they buy real shoes too. I mean,
you think so?
When they're on BT, you always see them buying shoes. So no, they buy real shoes too. I think sometimes they wrestle in fake shoes.
Well, that's I think they wrestle in the fakes because if you're facing the Lucha Bros in that nasty cage match, you don't want to bloody those things up.
Yeah,
so you wear the fakes in the ring. You rock the reels outside.
That's a solid pick. Almost one that match it all out with the Travis Scott joints.
There you go.
Unreal. Yeah, I'm gonna get murdered in this draft. I just want that out in the open.
So it won't be different than any other week.
So mine is strictly what I see on screen, and it's really been for this gentleman since he's become this new version of himself. this last year. I have noticed when he comes out, not in wrestling gear, so usually at the beginning of every SmackDown, I have noticed that Roman Reigns has upped his shoe game a bit. Usually matches the tracksuit. The colors are on point. They look like I'm not a huge shoe person. I want to say they're Jordans or Nikes. I don't know, but they're always in perfect match. They look slick. They look fly. I'm going with Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Can't
pick.
Can't argue that. Didn't I read he got like some exclusive Travis Scotts like gifted to him, like that are hard to find, and he wore them on the show.
I would hope if he got them. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I rock very cheap pairs of shoes. I'm not much of a sneakerhead. Are you? Phil,
I rock the type of shoes that Top Dollar ragged on today in the Vans. I'm one of those people.
Right next to me, got a pair of Jordans right here.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I owned one pair of Jordans in my life. I bought one.
I owned a pair of Jordans when I was younger. My parents did not feel good about giving me the money to buy those, but it was my birthday and they were wonderful to me. So that's what. But all right, Phil, your second round selection.
I am going to go, since the Young Bucks are off the board, I'm going to go with Kenny Omega. I'm gonna ignore the fact that he wore those Yeezys in that one episode of BT. But usually his shoe game outside of wrestling is pretty good. So I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega.
Tim's loving your pick or your talk of the Vans.
It's just
Vans are a good shoe.
That's what I roll with.
Hey, I have a lot of shoes, I guess. Dude. There you go.
Oh, there you go, man.
Edition.
Yeah.
I got a pair of kids' shoes. Oh, look at this. Exclusive joints right here.
Dang.
Car slipper, dog.
Can't compete with those.
Yo, that's top notch. That's the best. That should be your next pick. That's got to be the next pick right here.
Right there, my guy. Yeah. I got those exclusive Lightning McQueens. You can't slip-ons too. Oh, my kids are spoiled. That's all I'm gonna say. I love them, but so I can go a couple interesting ways here. I think it's shoe game. You know what? I'm gonna do it because I think my couple next picks will still be there. I'm gonna take MJF.
Oh.
I like the shoes, the Burberrys or whatever you want to call them that match the scarf. Sometimes he's got some studs on those things. He's always got a nice shoe game. I mean, unless we're solely talking sneakers, which I didn't think we were. I thought all shoes were game.
All shoes are equal, man. All shoes are equal.
All shoes are equal. I'm in then with MJF and his dress shoe game.
All right. Oh God, I'm gonna pick all like based on wrestling stuff, and it's gonna be bad. But I'm gonna take our first female performer. I was always a sucker for the Converse boots that AJ Lee would wear.
Oh, nice.
I thought they looked amazing. I'm a big fan of Converse. When I was younger, I had multiple pairs of Converse, and I liked, she first had the short ones, but then she made them longer, and they were like the long form look with the boots. So I'm taking AJ Lee.
If Phil pulls out a pair of Converse, I'm gonna say you guys did this off.
I don't think I have any near me. I have some somewhere. I don't think any are near me.
You're just like boat shoes. It's like I got those flip flops. I got those. I'm ready to go.
No, I think I have a pair of Adidas on right now.
I'm riddling it up right now. I'm shoeless at the moment. For those that are wearing it home, I'm hanging out shoeless right now.
That's gross.
That was a strong pick. I didn't even think of AJ Lee.
No.
Trying to think. I'm going to pick, if we're picking another women's wrestler, I'm going to go with Britt Baker.
Oh, that was going to be my pick. See, I should have went. Oh.
Just seeing her with quite a few pair of ones.
Yes.
I really like the black and yellow one she wore weeks ago. So, yeah, Britt Baker.
That's where I was going to go. I have to regroup, refocus in. I'm going to take CM Punk because he's been wearing some really nice shoes in those promos, and he's also been writing little messages on them for us. He's giving us a reason.
Hints. He was giving us hints, wasn't he?
Giving us some hints. I think one of them said AC on them. One of them said BW. And he's been wearing some Jordans on. Those are Jordans, I believe. I'm not a big shoe guy.
Yeah, he gave away Jordans on the last episode.
That's right. He gave it to that kid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to take it. I like Britt Baker. That's a good one, Phil. I don't know if we can have you back on if I lose this draft.
This one,
Because of that.
I hope
Kidding.
I hope people understand why I'm picking him right here. When I was younger, do you know how many pairs of pump up sneakers I owned?
Do
you guys want to guess? It's more than I should
17.
have. It's more than I should have. I owned 6 pairs of those at one point. I'm taking John Cena for the pump up kicks back in the day.
How'd you even see those?
Wow.
I know. That probably lost me this draft, but I wanted to do it anyway, so it's fine. I wanted to do it anyway, damn it. That's why I did it.
He's like,
you're
I'll
good.
throw the whole draft. Just
I'm throwing the whole draft to make sure I get the pump up sneakers in this draft.
Hey, if I'm drafting, he's kind of fell in my lap. The guy that kind of spurred all of this online, gonna pick Top Dollar, because he kind of started the controversy. So
You did.
I must have missed that. Was it a tweet or something this morning, or was he? What did he say exactly? So that I can
took a little shot at people at AEW, and you know them being sneakerheads on television, but wearing Crocs off TV or whatever he said, and some people were very, very mad about that. People that I thought it was actually very funny, and it got so far that I guess the Young Bucks changed their bio to talk about it.
Yes, they did. The
Right.
Young Bucks bio, I believe it said, spent more on sneakers than the entire NXT roster in 2017. That was what the bio said.
Hey,
So
humble brag.
yeah.
If you can do it, I guess. Sneakers are huge now. I see you scroll TikTok and it's all sneakers all the time.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess you know who I'm gonna take? I'm gonna take Montez Ford. I like his shoes. I like him a lot. I don't like that sometimes he wears those red shoes with every color that they come out with, but I dig the look. I dig the shoes. Taking Montez Ford because he's also a hell of a wrestler too. So
Yes.
I have to feel like those shoes contribute to that frog splash.
Yeah. He wears a lot of 12s. I'm a big fan of Jordan 12s. I know a lot of people wear 1s now, but those shoes I just showed a few minutes ago, those were 12s.
No,
Probably my favorite Jordans.
nice. Those are the blue ones? Yeah, not the black.
Yeah, the blue one, the Jordans.
Blue one, the Vans. Okay, yeah, got it. Sneakers are not my favorite thing. I guess this whole draft bill has made me question how much I look at wrestlers' feet, and maybe I'm not looking at them enough, and I should be.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Montez is from Chicago too, so it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed the red shoes; they stand out to me. So I was like, you know what, I like them. I like them. I didn't like when he rocked the green ones with the all reds. I wish he would have went with the green get up. It was at a pay-per-view a couple months back, and I was like, what are you doing? But other than that, good shoes.
I am going to take Naomi.
Yeah,
I believe she wears Jordans. I'm not going to know the numbers or anything like that. I'm not going to pretend to be I'm not that cool. But I believe she does wear Jordans, and obviously when she's wrestling the light up, like, come on. So I'm taking. Taking Naomi.
Wrestling in Jordans, though, I wonder how vastly different that is than wrestling in boots, because we've seen that has been a big shift too in wrestling. Is like a lot of the boots are going away, and you're seeing a lot more of the Kofis and the Naomis and wrestling in sneakers and the Young Bucks wrestling in actual sneakers opposed to boots, which I find fascinating. Maybe they were like, wait, those are just as good. Or is it simply for looks?
I mean,
it might be the look.
That might be the look.
Just the look. There's no added benefit.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if they add support from sneakers to. I assume boots would have more support for your feet, but who knows? But Phil, you are on the clock for your last pick, the first pick of the 5th round.
Last pick of the first round. Whew. This is a tough one. I'm just trying to think. Oh, I'll go with my guy. 2 watches. Isaiah Cassidy.
Oh yeah.
Notice
oddities.
nobody's taking top dollar. The guy that sparked the.
No, he
comment.
took
did.
top dollar. Phil
Did
took
you?
top dollar
Did
last
you?
round. Come on.
Was I not listening? I might
You
not.
even asked us what he said.
That's right.
Jeez Louise. What kind of day have you had over there? Kind of day have you had over there?
We can talk about
Goodness
that.
gracious.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, because no, I'm like so in my own head about all right, which sneakers are good. I've forgotten like now that I'm up and there's Tim left a really good gentleman on the board, but I feel like I've already got the dress shoe game on lock, so I'm going to leave him. And I'm going with Riot Squad Liv Morgan. Talked about her. She was always rocking some fresh shoes. Always made it look good, clean, color coordinated. I'm taking Liv Morgan. Riot Squad Liv. She don't do that anymore. She just loses now for no reason on television, throwing stuff back here.
Yeah, that's actually
But I'm
that's
not
a good pick.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw this. Your Love Wrestling Sunday brunch mug that you get at lovewrestlingshop.com. Shameless plug. Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant is up to JPJ here.
Yeah, I know. I might have 3 ladies on my list. Well, one person, what you think of him as a person might be in not the greatest with some of the stories that have come out about him, but I do remember like Enzo Amore having a strong shoe game when he was before he turned into a not great individual. But I don't want to pick him for that reason. So I'm going to go with Nikki Bella. Again, I believe she wore Nikes, LeBrons of some sort, I believe, but she wore like Nikes. I really like the look of the boot that looks like a sneaker. You know what I mean? So like when AJ Lee rocked the Converse boots, Nikki Bella had like the Nike boots, like that look where it's like, oh, that looks like a basketball sneaker or a sneaker, but they turn it into boots. So I'm going with Nikki
Turnbuckle.
All right, and that right there.
Well, that wraps up the draft. But I have a follow-up question because now I'm all thinking sneakers. Oh, I'm pushing buttons on my end, and I'm all over the place. So, if you took Jordans out of the equation, who's got the best current sneaker out there? Because everybody will say Jordan's number 1. Who's number 2? Is it LeBron? KD?
What depends. What do you mean? Like what athlete or
I guess
in terms of what's popular? In terms of what's popular, other than Jordans, like I see a lot of people talk about the Dunks, which are not like anybody's shoes. They're just like Nikes.
Yeah, those are the skateboarding shoe, right?
No, they kind of look like Air Force Ones, but they're
they're just like a standard Nike yeah.
Oh, is it fans?
Yeah.
Fans off the
I don't
wall?
personally see a lot of people wearing LeBron. That could be wrong. I don't see it. I see a lot of people wearing a lot of retro shoes.
Yeah, retro's back. Retro's huge now. Everything's retro these days. I was just curious because, like, I know everybody Jordan's is the standard.
Yeah.
If we were talking strictly athlete, I guess it would be the Currys.
The Currys.
See, like that's my thing is like I've never been like, don't get me wrong, I want to wear a good looking shoe and a comfortable shoe, but I've never been into that shoe world there. But it feels like there's a lot of athletes that have their own signature shoe nowadays. So I don't know, when I was younger, it felt like it was really just Jordan. It was the Air Jordans, and then there wasn't really much else, but now there's like LeBron, Durant, Curry.
R.I.P.
They all have them.
R.I.P. to Big Baller brand.
Oh
yeah. When I was a kid, I had a pair of Penny Hardaways. Like,
I love Penny Hardaway.
That
Magic team was dope when I was real young with Shaq and him and Nick Anderson. Man, that was a good team.
I was telling JPJ off air, I used to rock the Hakeem Olajuwon Paylesses.
He actually did say that.
My favorite basketball player of all time,
Hakeem.
Done.
Hakeem the Dream.
Hakeem is 1. Rodman is 2. Rodman is Dennis Rodman is one of the most interesting people in the world.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
He was the guy that played his part. He would give you 2 points a game, but 22
rebounds,
and nobody wanted to F with him.
No, because he could. Yeah, he's the best rebounder in the history of basketball.
Could you imagine what Dennis Rodman signature shoe would look like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, That'd be wild.
Yeah, you're on that's right, Spencer Love. We're on a wrestling podcast talking shoes and basketball with Phil Lindsey. So
me and Pluggo, before you hopped on, we were talking basketball for a while. And I was telling him, I was like, I was going to message you guys earlier, but I lost track of time and be like, yo, are you both into ball? Basketball starting next week. Preseason's been going on. I was like, let's talk a little bit of basketball because I don't have a lot of friends that like basketball a ton, even though I'm in Boston and like we all love the Celtics, obviously. So like, but yeah, man, I'm excited for basketball. I'm excited
for this Bulls team, man. Bulls team actually looks really good.
Yeah, they should be good.
I heard Lonzo's been working on that three.
Lonzo was the guy I wanted the Celtics to go after.
Yeah.
Before they got Schroeder, I was like, make a run at Lonzo because we got rid of Kemba and we need a point guard. We need a true point guard. Now, I think Schroeder is going to be one of those guys that like the Boston fans are going to love. They're going to love that guy. But Lonzo Ball was always a guy that I was like, if the price wasn't too steep, I would like the Celtics to go after him, but he ended up in Chicago.
I'm going to need a second team this year because the Rockets are definitely going to be trash.
Hey, man.
You got to stay loyal.
I'm loyal, but
no second team.
I'm loyal, and I love my team. I'm a Rockets fan, but being in the South Bend, Chicagoland area, I do get a lot of Bulls games, so I do watch them.
Well, there you go. They're going to be. Games. I think they're going to be pretty good. They could be a playoff team.
I'm not disloyal. I just know that we're going to win 15 games this year, and I'm going to need to watch. So
yeah, Rockets are not going to be good.
Yeah, they won't. They won't.
Yeah, you could jump on a bandwagon and support the Chicago Sky. They're right there, man. They're in the WNBA finals.
They are in the WNBA finals.
What's in the water in Phoenix that the basketballs all of a sudden?
I believe it's
super good.
Yeah. Well, Diana Taurasi is like Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner's amazing. Yeah, I love basketball. We could do a whole special basketball show if we wanted to. Like I would be down for that. But Phil, I want to thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh man. How did I forget this?
Uh-oh.
We let Shane go undrafted. Shane
O'Mac
go undrafted.
Oh, you know what? Throw the draft out.
Oh, that is true. He should have been my first round pick, probably.
Yeah, he should have.
He has a strong shoe game.
Seth Rollins missed his shoe game is strong.
Oh man, I was trying to think for that last pick, and I completely forgot about Shane.
Well, I'm glad you didn't pick him because if you would have, everybody would have been like, "There's Shane McMahon muscling his way into the." When he comes
that would have put him over the top. His shoe team is strong.
If we can, before we leave, because you brought up Shane McMahon, I will go on the record saying I can't understand why the wrestling community shits on that guy. He does not have to do the crazy shit that he does for us. Jumping off Hell in a Cell. It's like, yeah, he doesn't need to be in the main event picture. He didn't need to win the Best in the World tournament thing. But, he's a millionaire. But he doesn't have to go through panes of glass and take, the beating from Kurt Angle. But he did it for us. So, Shane, I support you. I think where JPJ was going, Phil, was that we've been here for a little over an hour. We've been hanging out, chopping it up. We appreciate you coming on. Like I said earlier when I got my internet connection fixed, you have a laundry list of places that people can find you. So please let our fans know where they can get, see more Phil Lindsey.
You can find my writing at Bleacher Report. I've just started doing like this ranking of the best storylines every week, so I'll go through and pick what are the hottest storylines I feel from AEW, Impact, and a bunch of other wrestling companies, and I do that every Monday. I just put out an article about my 5 picks for who should be the inaugural TBS champion. Nice. And of course, you could watch Rhapsody. You can of course watch Rhapsody on Fightful on Saturdays at noon Eastern time. With me, Righteous Reg, and Will.
Awesome.
Great show. It's a good show.
I was saying at the beginning, like I've watched the first 2 and it's very entertaining. Very entertaining.
I think the third episode is gonna be pretty good. Just based on
I'm looking forward to it.
I was listening to the first one and literally was so into it. I drove past my house. I think I tweeted you. I was like, Phil, I'm driving home, and I'm just like, you guys are just going.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where,
and I
like,
was like, yep, I'm just gonna keep going.
yeah, I want to stay in here until this is over. I don't want to have to prematurely end this, so I'm just gonna keep driving. Take a wrong exit, maybe. All right, let's we'll figure it out. Let's go the
Wife's
long
like,
way.
where are you?
Let's go the long way.
I don't know.
Pluggo, tomorrow night, Love Wrestling
Yeah,
on
we
this
have
very channel. We got
big
something
thing.
big going on. We want to talk about real quick before
Friday
we get
night
outta
just
here.
got a little bit bigger, fellas.
Yeah, you know, I can't believe that AEW and WWE had to counter program
They did.
our wrestling show that we're broadcasting tomorrow night. They were like, "Yo, who's this little Love Wrestling over here? We gotta bring out the big guns."
Shut them down.
But yeah, go ahead, talk about it a little bit, Pluggo.
So yeah, change the games happening. Force Wrestling, Love Wrestling teaming up. As you guys know, we last week sat down with the Spencer Love and talked it out and went over the match card. It looks like it's going to be a good time. It is on Twitch. I threw out a sub to somebody. It's already gone, so I can't remember. But if you're subscribed to our Twitch, you will get access not only to the show. Everybody gets access to the show. It's going to be on Twitch for free.
Yeah, for
change
free.
the game. But if you get subscribed on Twitch, you can join into the comment section and watch live with us Friday night. And I know
both of us
JP
will be
and I,
there.
we will be in there. I think Ed said he's going to be there. Astrid's going to be there. Everybody's coming. I mean, they are counter programming us, so shame on you, AEW. Shame on you, WWE. Why? How dare you? But we will be there. That is what I've got going on in the short term. You want to knock out where to find us, JPJ? You're really good at that.
Yeah. Next Thursday, 8:30 p.m., right here on the Love Wrestling Twitch. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook. Will be another episode of Between Two Beards. But yes, if you are on Twitch or around tomorrow evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the kickoff. There is a Rumble, and then the main card starts at 9 p.m. for Change the Game with Force Pro Wrestling and Love Wrestling. It should be a fun time. So hop on in there. Once again,
it is official.
Real quick,
official. Throwback. I don't know if you've seen throwback stuff, Phil, where he's talking about this belt and he's got this tournament going on. People are picking. I'm dominating. JPJ and your colleagues Steven Jensen tied, and I shamelessly was like, I'll take them both on next round. I'll take both of them on. Bring on all challengers. Pluggo out. Pick everybody.
Yeah, and then he's going to lose to me. But anyway, Phil, thank you again for hopping on. This has been a really good chat.
Yes, us too, Astrid.
Yeah, and I know I told you off screen. I've been following you and a big fan of yours for a long time, so this is really cool for us. So thanks for coming on. You are welcome anytime, my friend. Absolutely. And for everybody watching in the chat, thanks for your participation as always. And until next week, here it is. Peace out.